Right place, wrong time. That was Football Manager creators in 2024 and Giovanni Reyna when he got a fresh start at Borussia Monchengladbach with me in charge. Borussia Monchengladbach are bad, shockingly bad. In 2020, they earned a Champions League place, but as of late October 2025, they're bottom of the Bundesliga. That's why we reverted to the start of the season and appointed Marco Kruse as manager. He'll make sure Gladback can find some joy again, if he can navigate his way through these menus. Let's see, what is happening here? Giovanni Reyna is one of the most recognizable names on the squad, being a wonderkid who many had high hopes for in real life and in Football Manager. Unlike the latter, a player's development isn't a consistent upward trajectory until they reach their full potential. It's become apparent that not everybody is an Mbappe or Haaland, let alone Lamine Yamal. Gio Reyna, though, seemed to be at the right place at the right time. With Borussia Dortmund, he'd earned 50 Bundesliga appearances before turning 20. Internationally, he looked as he'd become a star when the USA co-hosted the 2026 World Cup. Everything was on the up, but what seemed like the right place at the right time didn't stay that way. Injuries plagued his development at Dortmund, off-field issues with the USA coach led to an odd drama between Greg Berhalter and Reyna's family, plus a loan to Nottingham Forest did not work out at all. Recently, he moved to Gladback for $7 million in hopes to reignite his career. Unfortunately for him, I used the 4-2-2, which doesn't include his strongest position. It's quite simple. Press a lot, pass into space, and get the ball to our target forward. Tabakovic with the opener, Fabio Chiarodia, who I will call the chair, with the second, and the man from Japan, Shuto Machino, grabbed a third to provide a dominant debut win. Tactics on FM26 now feature in-possession roles and out-of-possession roles. It's a lot to get your head around and see what works and what doesn't. A 4-2-2 away at Stuttgart may not be the plan, especially with a fairly young back line. We've mentioned the chair, and at fullback, we got Reyna's friend, Joe Scally. On the other side, there are two Germans. Luca Netz, who like Reyna was expected to be a brilliant player by now. Instead, he has been taken over by Lukas Ulrich. Lukas will earn more starts, and Luca will be loaned out and leave on a free at the end of his contract. There are veterans such as goalkeeper Moritz Nicolas and center back Nico Elvedi, who have been at the club for ages. But they were at fault for Stuttgart's winning goal. Hosting Werder Bremen next saw us revert that loss. Our French winger Honorat will be important as he opened the encounter, as with the left inside forward Robin Hack, who I call the Hackman, Gene Hackman.
I'm shocked.
He'd have a memorable match with 2 goals and an assist to defeat Bremen. Leverkusen afterwards, I thought that a similar lineup would maintain the output. Instead, we got a 90-minute bore fest. I'm sure our hardworking midfielders helped defensively. That would be the energy rabbit of Rocco Reitz and the slow playmaker of Kevin Stuger. But our offensive strategy got thrown out the window when Shuto Machino received an injury which forced Grant Ranos on. And I'm sorry, this guy isn't good enough. Even my assistant thinks so. With no offensive strategy, the game ended scoreless, is what I expected. But in added time, we conceded to lose. Machino's injury would see him out for 6 to 8 weeks. This ruins our system. There are players that can play striker, but they aren't good enough, comfortable in that role, or are injured like with Tim Kleindienst, which means small service. Small service he can't provide until December. The wheels didn't fall apart straight away as we went 4 without a loss, only 1 win. Thanks to Tabakovic scoring in each fixture, we at least remained competitive. But what happens when he dries up? That, along with tactical confusion from the manager and a matchup with Bayern Munich. For the real Der Klassiker, we used a cautious 4-3-3 in an attempt to frustrate the Bavarians, and it worked. Clearly, they weren't up for it after a PSG loss in midweek, as their offensive output an hour in had 3 shots. Not on target, just shots. Unfortunately, they have individual talent to rival anyone, and Michael Olise danced by 2 of my players to find the opener. We had to push up a little, and minutes later, we earned a free kick outside of their box. A delivery from Stuger would then find Elvedi at the far post for the equalizer. A draw would suffice. Unfortunately, I got greedy, and my sins to attack Bayern cost us with Anton Heinz scoring a 95th minute winner. This guy isn't even a good footballer. What is he doing here? That loss brought out the floodgates. 3 losses in the next 4 saw us sink down the table and suffer an embarrassing elimination in the DFB Pokal to Leverkusen. In December though, our injured strikers returned for a 0-0 draw to Champions League contenders Mainz. Yeah, the Bundesliga is kind of weird. And don't get me started on the World Cup later in the save. Versus Wolfsburg, I thought there had to be some way to make Giovanni Reyna work in this team. So I created this. Might be why we lost some of these games. Regardless, I felt that an attacking midfielder would unlock the attack, especially with the strikers needing to gain match sharpness. And in the 4th minute, he had a chance to deliver a free kick into the box. Gio Reyna from the free kick hasn't done much this season. I'm just gonna plug my stream, twitch.tv/thecrew, and the crew live on YouTube. Later on, Machino came off the bench to be our joker to rescue a draw. Reyna would be dropped for his return to Signal Iduna Park. It's our last match before the winter break, marking the midway point of the season, although technically the Hinrunde isn't complete until January. Nevertheless, away from home, we used the Bayern formation to be defensively resolute. Unlike in that game, we should have gone up 1-0. Kleindienst got sent in behind. I've waited months for this man, and this is what he has to show? Compared to Bayern, Dortmund found more chances, but at the half, it remained scoreless. A great defensive performance, wasted less than 30 seconds into the second. We remained behind until I decided to make changes with 20 to go. Revert to the 4-3-2. That includes the sub of Gio Reyna as the left inside forward. And in the 84th minute, got rights. Tabakovic, not a good ball, but Reyna wins it. Reyna scores against his forward team. A draw rescued. While it means we remain winless for 10 matches, players are beginning to return, and some tactical ideas have been found. With help from a red card, we started the new year positively as Augsburg were taken down thanks to Kleindienst's brace. It's not a smooth road though, as the overperforming Hoffenheim humbled us. Our away games impossible for us to win. Our only one is against St. Pauli, and their red card helped with that. Hamburg though had more at stake than 3 points, as both of us battled for Marco Reus's signature. Rumors began to spread that this result would determine who Marco signed for. Marco Reus has signed for Borussia Monchengladbach. What a day. Our second away victory of the season and the return of a fan favorite. Marco is old and losing his ability to move, but with several young attackers called up from the academy, who better to learn from? We wrapped up January with a win over Stuttgart, lost to the overperforming Werder Bremen, and loaned in Archie Gray. In addition, I tried to get rid of the 4 million man Neuhaus on loan. He said no. Fair enough. With 14 matches to go, we were still in a rough spot. But if we have a good Rückrunde, Europe is attainable. Beginning with Leverkusen, beginning with Frankfurt, a European competitor, we started a 20-year-old goalkeeper from Luxembourg. Moritz Nicolas received a 2-week injury, and I sold our backup in January. That gave the then 19-year-old a start versus Bremen, where despite 2 conceded, he made 11 saves. A clean sheet followed with Leverkusen, so I decided to continue his momentum at Frankfurt. Unfortunately, Mario Götze won a penalty, but Jonathan Burkhardt got stopped by TPC. The guy looked like Gordon Banks reincarnated. In the second half, however, the team in front let him down, as Frankfurt found 2 before the hour mark. Frankfurt looked to extend their point total over us to 7, until Gunnar entered the pitch. The Argentine youth international born in Germany, who's also Turkish, barely turned 18, yet I gave him a sub appearance as the left inside forward. Cross in, tipped away. Gunnar! Gunnar!
Ulrich is going to whip it in. Who can he find? No one. But it goes right to the Gooner. Gooner cannot beat his man. But he wins it back. Gooner. Gooner. A brace for the Gooner.
From youngest ever Gladback goal scorer to oldest, Marco Reus's strike against Freiburg gave him that honor along with a victory. We then turned it into an undefeated February with a 2-0 victory over Union Berlin. The next opponent is Bayern away from home, and you know how that goes. Conceding prior and after halftime is a perfect plan for a loss. Old man Reus still has it, as in a false 9 role versus St. Pauli, he assisted Kleindienst for the sole strike. That placed us in a European spot, which is top 7 in the table. Before the March international break, we had the Rhine derby with Köln. They had to worry about relegation, but in a derby, form means nothing. In contrast to the reverse fixture, this seemed to be in our favor, as Giovanni Raina found his first goal since January. To be fair to him, he doesn't play a lot. He also doesn't deserve to play that much with his performances, but he looked to be a derby hero today. Köln only had 1 shot at the half, and my hope was that they would get out of their shell and expose themselves. Then comes my naivety. I thought I could sub out our wingers for Gunnar and an even younger teenager in Wael Moya. Unlike Gunnar, he hasn't had any contributions, though not through his own fault. Yet bringing both of them on in a hostile derby atmosphere may have swung the momentum. 3 minutes after the sub, Köln would equalize thanks to Marius Butler. Then in the 89th minute, they would find the winner. Once the Bundesliga resumed from the international break, we would earn a narrow victory over Heidenheim, but lose to Leipzig the following weekend. 5 fixtures remain, with us in 9th, 2 points from the final European spot. In those matches, we face second place Mainz. Yes, Mainz and Bremen will both be in the Champions League. Then there's Wolfsburg, Dortmund at home, Augsburg away, and Hoffenheim to end the season. This run won't be easy, although the highest ranked team was, as we scored twice in the first half hour and allowed 2 shots all game to win and make the European race tight. Now tied for 6th, the gap to 10th is minimal. Wolfsburg weren't near us though, as they were in 17th and could be relegated. They showed desperation for a result, as in the 2nd minute, a deflected cross went straight to Mohamed Amoura. In the early parts, our right side got cooked, but it settled down, and before the break, Hackman took advantage of Grabar's poor parry for the equalizer. Wolfsburg would display their relegation form in the second half by conceding a penalty converted by Kleindienst. They soon would be relegated, while we continued our chase for Europe with Dortmund next. It's been a catastrophic season for BVB, as is tradition every handful of years. They sacked Niko Kovac earlier in the campaign and hired Oliver Glasner, who brought them back into a respectable position. Tied on points with them, how would the Borussia battle fare?
We got movement here. Hack receives it down the left. It's a little slow on it. Gets it back to Ulrich, who whips the ball in, back post. And Honorat takes advantage of a mistake as Gladback take the lead. Who made the mistake? Oh, he just blocked the shot, then just got out of the way. Oh, ball in. Elvedi! 5 minutes in, it's 2-0 Gladback. What a ball. Ulrich down the left. Ulrich. Beats a man. Ulrich keeps going. It's 3-0. The Hackman. Not even 10 minutes into the game. And Gladback are 3-0 up over Dortmund.
Statement made. With 2 to play, Borussia Monchengladbach were 4 points clear of a European spot and 5 points ahead of our next opponents, Augsburg. Only a complete disaster could see us miss out on continental football, and we are 3-0 down. We managed to salvage our goal difference with 2 late goals, including one from Giovanni Reyna, but it wasn't enough. Here's how it looks. We're still in 5th on goal difference. 6th and 7th place Frankfurt and Stuttgart face each other. Due to the tiebreaker being goal difference, neither Dortmund nor Hoffenheim could pass us. We played the latter, a team that hadn't won for 16 straight matches, which included a loss to Darmstadt in the DFB Pokal. So even with a loss, which based on form is impossible, we won't finish below 7th. We lost to Hoffenheim. In another universe, this would be a massive ball job. Luckily, we finished in 6th, and thanks to Bayern Munich, we qualified for the Europa League. A season of returns, redemption, and why does everyone want to leave? Chair, I played you every single game, and this is how you repay me? Are you kidding me, Stuker? As captain, this is how you want to end things? Neuhaus? Fair enough, I didn't play you. At least Giovanni Raina earned some redemption. Or not.